What does it really take to start a podcast? Let's be honest, there is so much confusing information out there. And there are so many different ways that you can get your podcast off the ground. You can host in a free program, record directly into it, make no edits, launch podcast. You can take the hours and hours and hours that some experts say it takes to produce and edit a podcast. Or you can figure out a way somewhere in the middle. And that's what I've done. So let's talk about what it takes to actually start your successful non-pod fade podcast. Let's go. Welcome to the podcast about podcasting, where you guessed it, we're talking all things podcasting. Whether you are just ready to launch your show, or maybe you're a seasoned podcaster ready to grow and monetize, this podcast is for you. We are talking about the strategy, but beyond that, the mindset it takes to grow a massively successful podcast in this day and age. If you are ready to take your podcast to the next level and make big bucks, you've come to the right place. I'm your host, Jen Dragonette, so let's dig in. I am so excited you are thinking about launching a podcast, but I bet you're like most people and you're overwhelmed. My story is a little different because one morning I woke up, I decided to be a podcaster. That day I had my trailer recorded. I had picked a name, I had launched it, I had picked a host and just went for it. But that is me as a manifesting generator. I just do the things and then I clean up the mess later. But after 8 months, that podcast did rank number 52 in the top 100 self-love podcasts to listen to in 2020. I kind of know what I'm talking about. This is my strategy for launching a podcast that is successful. What you actually need is a great idea, something you're passionate about talking about, and the foundations of how to set up and really move the needle forward. Everyone is going to have a different opinion on what you should need, but here is the basics I believe you truly should need. I think you should pay for a podcast hosting app because let's be real, you get what you pay for and free is not always the best. Number 2, I think that you need to have some sort of microphone because quality does matter. Yes, in the last 2 years during staying home, we have gotten used to subpar audio quality, subpar video quality. But realistically, if you want somebody to listen to this in 5, 10, 15 years, which yes, is possible for podcasting if you position it correctly, you want good quality. A good quality mic doesn't mean that you have to run out and spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I love the ATR 2100. I love that one. Another great one is the Samsung Q2U. I like dynamic microphones way better. Yes, you can go with one of the trendy cutesy microphones out there like the Yeti or the Blue Snowball, but guess what? Having a condenser mic, you are going to have to do more edits. Go with a dynamic microphone. I repeat for those in the back, don't go cutesy and get the trending microphones because as a podcast producer, I have had nothing but problems for my poor clients that have those microphones. The ones that have gone out and bought a dynamic microphone, we have a lot less audio quality issues. So that's just my recommendation from being in the business, having my own show, and being a producer at Dragonette Productions. Just so you know. And I do believe that you should do some sort of editing to your audio. Yes, it would be so convenient to just do a Facebook Live, pull the audio, and then put it into a podcast player. You can do that. But remember, quality matters. What you're giving to someone. And yes, if it's got a horrible background noise or it's skipping, it's hard to listen to. What I want you to do is focus on those things. Get a host that's amazing. A lot of them, I love Libsyn. As of this recording, they have one that is $5 a month. I love Buzzsprout because you can use dynamic content. And dynamic content is great for those of you who want to plug commercials in the beginning or the ends of your episode. There's Podbean. There's so many hosts out there, and it all just depends on what you need as a business owner. But find a host, get a microphone, and then do some audio editing. Yes, I know that sounds like a daunting task, but there are some really easy softwares out there. There are some that are free for up to 2 hours a month that will auto level your podcast for you. If you do nothing else, I highly recommend doing that. So that's the things that I believe that you truly need is a great idea, a podcast host, a microphone that is preferably from me, I like dynamic, and some sort of way to edit your audio. Again, there are free softwares out there. There's different ones that you can edit in and out. Do you need an intro and an outro? Not really. You can get away with not having that and just doing basic audio editing. But you do need to do some sort of audio editing. Like, just do it. I know it sounds hard, but realistically, if you do a 15 to 30 minute episode and you come and hang out with me because of who I am and how I like to get things done, quick, down and dirty, and get them out and still sounding good, I can teach you how to turn that into like 2 hours of your time, maybe 3. But that's what you really, really, really need to start a podcast. All this other stuff is just fluff. All the other stuff is just meant to be confusing. But when you start a podcast, you really need to think about those things, your idea. And while you're building out that idea, I recommend doing some SEO, so search engine optimization searches for keywords, because keywords are going to be important for you. So little side note, there are only a few searchable places inside podcast app players. They are 1, the title of your show, 2, the description of your show, and 3, your episode titles. That means that if you are worried about creating show notes and you don't have a blog or a YouTube channel to plug them into, don't bother. Just put your links in there because they are not searchable. So I see all these beautiful show notes that my clients have given me in the past. And I'm like, where are you putting this other than on the players? They're like, nowhere. And I force them to get a blog because they've written all these great content that is not searchable. And we want to be searchable. You do not want to be hunting for each one of your listeners, period, end of story. So that was just a little side tangent for you. But I'm really excited for you to get started. And if you need any recommendations, I will put a link to my favorites in the show notes below. And of course, as always, a link to hang out with me in my Feed Your Business with Love community, or come hang out on the gram at j.dragonette. So I look forward to bringing you more episodes about what you need to be a profitable podcaster and so much more, and how podcasting is really good for your soul. So grab the microphone, clear your throat, stand up, and share your message with the world. Because remember, as my friend Colleen says, your story is someone's life preserver. It is a disservice to keep it to yourself. So go out and serve with a full heart. So much love, so much light. Go out, make an impact, create your tsunami, and ditch the ripple mindset. I'll see you soon.